Are you feeling forced to summon for Luocha, or do you feel like there's some pressure when it comes to the community talking about Luocha, how good he is, how amazing he is, how stupid broken he is, and why you need to summon for this character? Well, this is something that a lot of people are talking about. A lot of people are worried when it comes to who should I spend my Jades on, because there's other really cool characters coming out very soon. We have Kafka coming out, which is a fan favorite that a lot of people are talking about. We have Blade, who looks really fun, and I love his design like crazy, and he's going to be another character that a lot of people are excited for as well. Now there is Luocha, who of course some people have already drained all of their Jades for Silverwolf, and Luocha is going to be coming up next. Kafka is going to be coming up next patch, and so is Blade. So there's a lot of different characters that a lot of people have been wanting to summon on, and with all these characters very tight in between, Luocha is that character that throws that wrench in your plan into summoning for what the characters that you want, because you feel like he is a character that you need. And today's video, we're going to be talking about why Luocha is so good, what's in his kit that makes him so amazing, and also I will also be providing some substitutions that you really don't need Luocha 100%. Of course, he's going to make your account a lot easier to do a bunch of content, not really have to worry about if your characters are going to survive the next battle or not, but it is going to help you in terms of making it a little bit less seeming like you need Luocha, rather than if you really want him, go ahead and get him. If you don't, there's these other characters that will help you in terms of what Luocha could have done, and put it onto those characters with a little bit more extra, I guess you say, investment in those characters. So we are going to be talking about all of that type of stuff today. And with that being said, let's go ahead and start talking about Luocha's kit. What makes him so strong? Why is he so good? Why does everyone and their mom want to summon for him? Now, of course, he is a healer already, and not only at that, he is an imaginary healer, which not only is there a few imaginary characters in this game, with Wilt being the only one in standard banner, which is going to be hard to get, of course. You also have healer, which is a very scarce role as well. Natasha is the only character at the current moment who's available to get for everyone as free to play, so she is the only healer right now. And then some people do have Bailu, which is a very tough character to get for other accounts because she is a standard banner unit, and with her being a standard banner unit, you have to try to lose the 50-50 and also win to get Bailu over all the other 50-50 characters, so she's not really that reliable in having her on your account. So Luocha would be the next best guess. So yes, Luocha does cover that healing aspect that is very scarce at the current moment, and he also covers the imaginary thing as well. So there's just a lot going for him already with him being who he is. Now, talking about his actual kit, the reason why he's so strong is that with his skill, he's able to do multiple things. His skill not only is going to allow him to cleanse off a debuff that you have in your current team, so it is going to help you a lot in making sure that if you're frozen, if you're imprisoned by certain enemies, especially in the harder modes like Memory of Chaos or Simulated Universe, you'll be able to clean those off. It'll make it so that your characters are topped up by then, and it also adds stacks to one of his talents. And with this talent, he's able to build a field that is going to do healing over time for your teammates. And also, with that being said, you're also able to get standby healing with your skill as well. If a certain character is going to be under a certain amount of percentage for your HP, then you will be able to get standby healing, which is not going to take up a skill point. Now, not taking up a skill point and getting that heal is very, very strong, because you're going to be able to have that skill point for someone else. You're going to be a net profit type of character, and your skill points are going to be able to build up a lot easier with Luocha on the team. So this is why he's already good fundamentally, and also his ult does do AoE damage with it stripping buffs off of the enemies. So for enemies like the World 2 bosses, the World 2 enemies where they revive themselves or they start exploding and stuff like that, you can take that off of them. They also have enemies that heal off of ads. You can take that off of them as well. There are a lot of enemies in Simulated Universe and also in Memory of Chaos that like to buff themselves before they do their attack, so that it does massive AoE damage or massive single target damage. You can take that off of them as well. They will have to rebuff themselves to be able to attack, and this having the option to debuff an enemy, take away their buffs, is very, very strong. That's why Pella is really strong, and that's why Luocha will be strong. So Luocha just has so much in his kit to be able to take buffs off of enemies, to be able to cleanse your teammates, to be able to heal your teammates, and also to allow healing over time and standby healing without skill points. And this overall is just going to allow you to do so much more with other characters, not have to worry about skill points being wasted on heals, even though it's not a waste, but it does help out other characters do what they need to do faster, do what they need to do more often. So this is why fundamentally Luocha is just going to be an amazing character. Not only does he has a scarce role and a scarce element, he is amazing at being a healer by himself in his kit, even without his element and his role being, as you know, what makes him so good. Now, when it comes to Luocha and why and what you need to be able to substitute him out for a reason to not have to summon for him, because I know a lot of people want to find ways to not summon for him so they can summon for someone else, we have other characters that will be taking up that spot. One of the characters is going to be Bailu, of course. Now, not a lot of people can get Bailu because he is a standard banner character. Standard banner characters are a little harder to get because you do have to lose the 50-50. You do have to win out of all of those pools of characters to get Bailu. But if you do have Bailu, Natasha could be on one team and Bailu can be on the other team. That is a way that you can split it between the two, and it's enough healing to get you by to the hardest floors in the game. Now, another character that some people might not notice or some people might not put in that same spot is going to be Japard. Now, this is another standard banner character, I know, but I guess you could say the pool of more players having either Bailu or Japard is going to be a little bit bigger than having one of them, you know, I guess you could say. So Japard is going to allow for some massive shields, and not only that, he also has defensive capability with this freeze as well from his skill. So having that freeze, being able to stun them for a turn, have them take a little bit of damage, also able to create some beefy shields that for the most point, if you're taking a good amount of damage, you might be able to get your ult off again before the shield expires if you do build Japard correctly with the energy recharge rope and a bunch of defense. So having that being said, Japard is just going to be an amazing substitution to be able to keep your characters alive, especially in the shorter, I guess you could say, span of how long a fight is in Memory of Chaos, with you being restricted to a certain amount of turns. I think Japard will be absolutely amazing in terms of having him on the team. Now, there are other characters that you can link with Japard that will probably help them out a little bit more in regards to allowing them do what they need to do more. Ting Yun can give him his ult back, which is going to allow you to have a quick situation where you really need that ult for Japard and you can get that big shield off, and then Ting Yun can give it to him. That's a really good option that you can have that could help him out. There's just a lot of different combinations that you could run with Japard, with Bailu, or mainly Japard because he's kind of gonna need it without the healing. But there's other characters that might be able to help Japard out when it comes to making sure that he does what he needs to do, give you the shield that you need, because these enemies do hit hard. Now, of course, we do have Fire MC. Now, his shields aren't crazy, but he does reduce the damage you take with your shield, so he can help a little bit when it comes to making sure that you don't die. Now, I guess you could say if you don't really care as much for Memory of Chaos, because some people may think, I'm going to get Luocha, and since I get Luocha, I'm going to be able to clear all the stars and do all of the stages for Memory of Chaos. But remember, although Memory of Chaos is going to give us a couple of Stellar Jade, it's not going to give you enough to pay for your Luocha. I'm just going to say that outright. You're not going to be able to get enough at the current moment, I guess you could say for a very, very long time, to be able to pay for how much Jade you're going to use for Luocha. So for some people, it might be better to invest in your members that you already have on your account, get them leveled up as much as you can, and then do your stages then, and then see how far you can get. Now, I guess you could say with time going on, there will be more healers, more 4-star healers, more 5-star healers. I don't think Luocha is the end all be all, and I do think he'll end up rerunning sometime soon in the future, just because you got to remember that PlayStation is going to be getting their release for Honkai Star Rail at the end of the year, and if you can wait that long, if you can wait till then, I'm pretty sure they're gonna do reruns for Honkai Star Rail's past characters like Celet, Jinyuan, Silverwolf, Luocha, Kafka, Blade. All these characters I think they're gonna rerun pretty soon when PlayStation ends up getting their actual release of the game. So this is going to help out a lot, and people who miss characters, they're gonna be getting them when they come back. So I do think it's okay to wait. You don't 100% need Luocha if you want to start clearing Memory of Chaos. It's going to help, of course, but with the use of being able to get the right characters leveled up, get them leveled up to the point where they're not getting one shot by other characters, having a crazy healer isn't as needed as you may think when it comes to actually summoning for him. So for people that feel pressure, don't feel pressure. If you really like the character for who he is and what he does, then go ahead. But if not, if you feel pressured to the point where you don't want to summon for him but you feel like you need to, I would just say stick with your gut, summon for who you want to summon for. Memory of Chaos is not 1000% needed to get the most J's in the world. It does help, but for the most part, a lot of the events that are going to come in the game, a lot of the missions that are going to be out in the game, a lot of the achievements in the game are going to be the main sources of how you get your Jade. So I do want to say that don't summon because you feel like you have to, summon because you want to. So pretty much is going to be it for this video in regards to why people feel they need to summon for Luocha, or the substitutions that you could possibly put inside for Luocha. So other than that, thank you guys so much for watching out to the end of the video. See y'all in the next one, and peace.